I installed a 3500 kV Polar Pro combo with a Copperhead 10 ESC into this TRX-4 Sport, and it was a hoot. But today I want to do something a little bit different. I'm going to yank that combo out, put it into another rig, and I want to install this 1800 kV combo that I integrated a little ESC into. So I'll be frank with you, I am not a fan of integrated ESC solutions. And this one is cobbled together. So I did a lot of work for convenience, which is not convenient at all. But it's pretty simple. So we have the Crawlmaster Mini ESC that's shoved into this little 3D printed cap. It's just made of TPU so that it'll slip over the end of the motor. And then I just straight soldered straight into it. I just soldered from the ESC into there. I pulled the leads out of the top. Here's our RX wire. And that is a fully integrated solution. Now, this particular ESC does not have an integrated BEC on it yet, so I'll need one of those on the rig, but otherwise, I'm gonna be able to slap this in the rig and essentially test it out. That's what I wanna do, is just test it out, see how it does, see how the thermal capability of it is, and how 1800 kV does in this TRX-4 Sport. So the first thing we need to do is probably recharge this battery because this one went all the way down. So I'm gonna set it over here. We're gonna recharge that in a little bit. And then we just need to yank out this combo. So we got the Copperhead 10 that I programmed. We got this Polar Pro in here. And we just need to take off my zip tie. And I guess I can see the draw for having an integrated solution. Now for something high power like this, you really can't have an integrated ESC. There's just way too much power, way too much heat being generated. Even in a 550 can length, you just can't quite do it. So a 3500 kV unit, at least something with decent power, we're gonna have to have a separate ESC. But going down to crawling speeds, 1800 kV range, we could totally have an integrated ESC, although I'll test it out. But we should be able to have that integrated ESC, no problems. And that's what I wanna test out. I'm gonna gear it a little lower than stock though, just to be on the safe side. So to take out our stock motor, our 3500 Polar Pro, we have these 3 screws, 1, 2, 3. Let me just take those out. So let me know in the comments who has run a 3500 in their TRX-4, and did you put it in a sport or did you put it into a 2-speed? And what did you think about it? I had a whole bunch of fun running this sucker, let me tell you. Not so much fun that it is going to stay in here forever though. Now to recap, I used a 15 tooth pinion because that was the smallest that I could fit with this stock, what is it, a 38 or a 39 tooth spur. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna change that directly over on to the new motor system. And it goes on the A setting. So this is probably going to be the fastest combo swap ever. And there we go. There is our old combo taken out, ready to put into a 2-speed. And I know that last time I said that 2700 kV was better suited for a 2-speed and 3500 for a single speed, but I just kind of want to go a little nuts on this next install. And this one, like I said, I'm bringing it down to 1800 kV, but I really want to try the 3500 in a 2-speed and just see how rowdy it can be. All right, and we're going to figure out the best way to mount this. I think straight up and down. I'm going to mount it with the wires straight up and down. And that should be just fine. So back to the ridiculousness of a 3500 kV Polar Pro. Overall, for a high-powered system especially, one of my favorites. I really like the speed. I did a lot of work on the magnetics to get it very smooth starting, as well as having all that ridiculous wheel speed. And it is a credit to Castle Creations engineering as well. that we can get that super wide envelope of speed and still retain such good low speed control. And it's, you know, it's no FOC system by any means, but, you know, kind of a preference thing. I'm not a huge fan of the velocity loop, at least in ways that it can be implemented. But at the same time, if it could give me a little bit better low speed control, I wouldn't hate on it if Castle added that into their programming at this point, but it would need to be very specific. In the method that it was for me to really like it, I just don't like the brute force all the time velocity loop. It needs to have some sponginess somewhere in the throttle. Somewhere. But I'm not a person that holds so tight to their own convictions that I'm not willing to try something out. For instance, this integrated solution, what should we call it here? The fission, because I'm gonna be able to rip it apart like two atoms in a fission. They blow apart with enough energy, of course. And maybe I'll blow these apart. Who knows? Yeah, this will be interesting though. We'll see what happens. See if I even got this ESC program properly. We're working through some prototype code right now, and it needs to be tested. Best way to put it. I have no clue what this is going to do. Maybe it'll boot up and it'll work. That would be pretty sweet. But maybe it'll boot up and it won't do anything. So we'll find out. All right, to give myself a little bit of better wire routing, I'm just gonna wrap this RX lead around my wrench, make it nice and tight, and then it'll make it kind of like a springy coil, because we don't need all of that room. We don't need all of that. So this goes there. Our positive is going to be on the, or I'm sorry, negative is always on the outside, towards the outside of the receiver. Keep that in mind. And there we go. Now this ESC currently does not have an integrated BEC, so I need to find one around here somewhere. Haha! So Traxxas was sneaky and they integrated a BEC inside the radio box, and it even already has a JST plug on this guy. So I'm gonna save myself a little bit of time and just use this. It looks like it's got some funky, I don't know, resistor. Maybe that's I want to open it up and see what's in there. I'm assuming if there was a dead short that it would you know, pop right there or something like that. Just a guess, who knows. So a little bit of laziness here. I'm just going to use that BEC that Traxxas has already provided to me. Yes. Then maybe I could even do something fancy like close the box down or something. We are going to plug this in. Ooh, is it the 4-cell? It is the 4-cell. Is it going to fit? No. It's not gonna fit. Ah, rats. Yeah. Oh, well, I'll just use this to boot it up. And no, I bet you that's gonna smoke the Traxxas BEC. Let me be a little smarter about this. We shall use a normal battery. Now I'll just have to charge up that other one before we go for a ride. Now, radio on. And cross your fingers. We got no radio signal, is what it is telling us. So the way that they want us to do this is we plug in the ESC to the BEC. And then we plug in the BEC to the throttle channel. This is that, and that is this. I want this plug. Therefore, I get to see what's underneath this heat shrink. I'm hoping it's some sort of thermal resistor. We can hope for excitement. It's like playing Nintendo back in the day with a Power Glove. Now you're playing with excitement. Did anybody actually have a Power Glove? I got to play one a couple times, and let me tell you, very disappointing. It was just a controller on the wrist. It really, and then it's like A, B, A, B, A, B. All right, it does look like some sort of inline little resistor thing right there. And you know me, I like to throw caution to the wind, so I'm just gonna get that out of the way. Snippy snap. We don't need that. You know, just a heads up. The things that I do on this channel, they're gonna be risky. They're gonna cause problems sometimes, but you don't learn sometimes, or at least I don't learn until I make mistakes. And yes, maybe put some solder directly on the tip. I have changed my mind on not putting solder directly onto the tip, and while yes, it definitely does eat away at the tip, the speed, the expediency of soldering is greatly helped by just adding some extra solder to whatever joint you're working. And if you can't get it onto the joint because the joint itself is not hot enough, then the only other option is to add it directly onto the soldering iron tip. All right, so that I don't make a mistake, I'm going to do one at a time so that I don't forget which way is positive and which way is negative. I've totally never hooked anything up backwards before by accident. Yes, I definitely have. I feel like I have to explain these jokes sometimes because as sarcastic as I'm trying to be, sarcasm doesn't always come through very well on video. I mean, it's even worse on text and on the Facebooks. I mean, I think half of y'all spend half of your time being banned on Facebook just because of trying to make a smart comment. And when I say smart, I mean smart like how my kids talk. Sarcastic. Because, you know, they're trying to be funny. My kids are just trying to be funny, but they kind of come off like little turd nuggets sometimes. And you do that kind of stuff on Facebook and somebody's going to get upset. I mean, somebody's always looking to get upset, I think. All right, I may have possibly shorted out some legs on this guy. Let me move this solder around a little bit just to be sure. I didn't get a close enough look, but it looks like one of these MOSFETs. The legs are really close to the pads. No, I guess that's, we'll find out. We're gonna find out if I shorted. See, those two legs of that MOSFET are directly tied to the positive pad, and in all likelihood, that's how it's supposed to be. But I also may have just kind of fudged a little too much of the solder on there. So we're gonna do this. We're gonna see if we get a smoke show. Yep, all right. Okay, it works, we're good. And yeah, good old stock servo here. Now, how is our throttle? And is it in the right direction or not? All right, everything goes backwards. So I actually reversed the throttle on the last video. If I remember correctly, we hold down the set button until this blinks. We pull the trigger and then we hit the set button again. And that should, in theory, yes, reverse our channel. And you can hear, there we go. You can hear that pinion chattering under no load. There's so much drivetrain lash, that's funny. This motor is spinning so slow that it actually takes that long. Let's listen how long it takes to get all the drivetrain lash out. There it goes. Wow, interesting. And that's something that's really hard to tune out of these systems that have a slower startup speed than what the motor actually wants to do. All right, so I need to charge up my battery. I'm gonna clean up the wires on this guy a little bit, and then we will go outside, but it has been such a long ordeal for me to get this going that we will have that on another video when it is actually not raining outside as well. So excuses, excuses. I have lots of them today. If you do have any questions about this setup, I will do my best to get your questions in the comments. Leave them down below. And as always, thanks for tuning in.